This documentary contains spoilers to episodes of Petrified. Listen at your own peril. You've been warned.
You're listening to Petrified.
You're listening to Petrified.
You're listening to Petrified.
And you're listening.
To Petrified. Hello, I'm Margaret McAuliffe.
I'm Amy O'Dwyer. And what you just heard were the voices of every person who's ever appeared in Petrified.
Welcome to You're Listening to, a very special Behind the Screams episode of your favourite, award-winning, #1 horror podcast. Hope you're not upset thinking you were getting a regular episode.
Remember years ago with certain TV shows back in the days of terrestrial TV, you'd sit down, ready for more of the same, and it would turn out to be a compilation episode or a recap episode?
I used to hate when that would happen.
In this making of, we'll be featuring interviews with some of the huge cast we featured over the years, clips from some of the episodes, and little bits of trivia.
Including a look at how this creepy little anthology all came about, with interviews from Liam Geraghty and Peter Dunne, the creators of Petrified. For those of you who don't yet know, Liam is the producer, editor and sound designer of the whole show, and Peter writes and directs every episode. We'll also be discussing the real impetus for why you're all listening.
Yes, we are very aware you are all horror fans and how warped your minds are, and the particular reasons you're all tuned in to this making of.
We've seen the Reddit threads, the socials comments, so don't worry. We're also here to address the thing.
But first, some introductions. Regular listeners of the show might recognise our voices. I've been in episodes such as The Loneliest Sound, co-starring with Margaret, or Mags, as we call her.
I'm coming out and I don't want to be in this lighthouse anymore.
Stop! Listen to what I told you. You have to listen to what I told you before you open
The Guest.
Hold on properly.
Oh, God! Don't drop him! I'm sorry.
Love You Mean It.
I could see a group of children watching me from the stairwell in the flats. They were hidden at first, but I could make them out in the shadows. No adults, just children.
And Point Hop Back.
Help! Help!
Are you all right?
There's a mad woman in the school. Look at the window. She's gone.
I've been in far more episodes, not that I keep adding them up, as well as 2 of our live shows, Melody's Story Hour.
Oh, shush everyone. Here's Ringmaster Roar. She always knows how to get a crowd going.
And the Rictus Grin.
There was a middle-aged woman sitting in that seat. She was just much older.
I was also in Whatever Way the Light Hits It.
The stuff on the statue will need to be sent away for testing. It's the only way to know if it's blood.
Up the Airy Mountain.
You're really hurting my arm.
So it's only your own pain that matters, is it? Not a care for anyone else's.
Okay, Mags, that'll do. First up, let's take a listen to where all of this began.
Stop ringing here. Just stop it.
It's only a matter of time, Teddy.
That was a clip from Dead Air, our first ever episode. Any major horror buffs might notice it actually opens with a line from The Innocents, the 1962 classic starring Deborah Kerr, Peter's favourite horror film.
It was only the wind, my dear.
The candle's gone out. Don't be frightened. It was only the wind, my dear. The wind blew it out.
In a full circle moment, Liam interviewed the actor Martin Stevens, who delivers the line you just heard there in his fellow podcast, Meet Your Maker.
I will say that the last 15 minutes of the film were the most demanding for me, and I think for Deborah. From the time that I leave the dining room having slapped the jelly which is very spooky in itself. There's something very spooky about that. And then I run into the conservatory, that whole confrontation with Deborah in the conservatory. We're both sweating because it's hot and humid in there. Then I throw the tortoise, which is a pretty awful thing to do. Oh, by the way, they gave me that tortoise. His name was Rupert. Just as an
Oh, you got
aside.
to keep him as a pet.
I kept him, yeah, I kept him. I kept Rupert.
Now, the actors featured in the Dead Air clip were Charlie Bonner and Donncha O'Dea. Here's Donncha bringing us right back to that very first day of recording.
The very first day of recording Petrified, I remember we were all locked outside the recording studio and we couldn't get in. It was early on a Sunday morning down in the Dublin Docklands. And eventually we got in and we all piled into this little recording booth. There is a photograph of it still. And there was Mags, Deborah, Deirdre, Charlie, myself, Liam and Peter. And we all squeezed in. And then eventually in the afternoon we could start to hear bleed through from the recording booth next door. But we persevered.
You'll notice Donncha used the phrase bleed through. What happened was the recording equipment actually picked up the sound of the studio next door. It inspired the title of another season 1 episode.
It's okay. I'll get your tape. Hold on, I'm going to call an ambulance. Don't worry, I'll keep your tape safe. No, please. I knew you were here after that call. You can't. It's okay. I promise.
We would also like to take a moment to remember Charlie, who obviously couldn't be interviewed for this documentary. Now.
Don't you want to remember Donncha too?
What people mightn't know is, since that bleed-through occurrence, to be on the safe side, throughout the years, about 90% of the episodes were recorded sitting around Peter's dining room table in his house in the Phibsborough area of Dublin.
With the same cotton tablecloth, with the green, pink and white pattern covering his table for luck.
Let's take a listen to the usual setup.
While Liam sets up the mics and equipment, the cast come in. There's a lot of catching up as we've become a little family. Even more important now, there's so few of us left. The tea and coffee is put on. A peppermint tea for Liam. There are biscuits on the table. A very warm and cosy setup considering what gets made. You can only imagine what the neighbours might think when they hear noises like this coming through the walls.
Run! Where?
Anywhere!
For any of the Petrified family left, does this sound, pun intended, ring a bell? Many, many times we'll be deep into the performance, maybe mid-scream even, and we'll be interrupted by the ringing of the bells. From Peter's back garden, you can see the church that towers over the house, and the bells are always 2 minutes early. So if someone from the church is listening, check your clock.
So much warmer than the making of Oh, just caught myself.
Ah, the mystery pre-petrified experiment. We'll get to that. But let's jump into the archives again. We can't interview them now, obviously, but luckily we have a recording Liam and Peter made when they were prepping for an interview for the release of Series 4.
Do you want to be the interviewer for this one?
Okay, grand. So, Liam and Peter, how did Petrified come about? Well, Liam, I'll tell you. I have a long history of working in the audio field in some way. I worked on news reports and investigation pieces for radio news. I was co-creator of the Comic Cast.
Hello and welcome to the Comic Cast, Ireland's #1 comic podcast. I'm Craig.
I'm Liam.
And we're here with our Easter special. Easter is a time of year where we celebrate the resurrection of one of the world's most beloved characters, Doctor Who.
One of the first big Irish podcasts. I also have the Meet Your Maker podcast.
I'm Liam Geraghty. It's time to meet your maker.
I did behind the scenes style podcasts for the TV show Vikings and for an Irish show called Calamities.
Dublin, the place to see and be seen.
that ended up never being finished because, if you remember, the Irish actress Rachel Creed passed away during filming.
Very sad. But Liam, where did the interest in making horror shows come from? How did you link up with the super talented and monstrously attractive Peter Dunne?
Is that the cue to tell the story about how you tricked me into working together? Well, I had interviewed you for RTE when you ran an underground film night called Morb.
So you don't know what you're going to see. Usually it's something pretty graphic or pretty out there. And also with the venue, I try and find unusual places that you wouldn't really see films in. By the time they get to the venue, they're so hysterical that it doesn't matter what you show, they'll be terrified. I'll tell you no more about the film, yeah.
And so because of that, you were the only person I knew who worked in audio. So your card was marked. I wanted to make an audio horror thing, but because I didn't really know you or have any experience to try and impress you with, I decided the only way would be to set a trap and see if you'd fall in. I asked you for a coffee to pretend to find out about the new world of podcasts.
By the way, interviewer Liam, I only found out about this setup years later on stage at a podcast launch in the Sugar Club in Dublin.
I'd forgotten I'd never actually even told you it was a trick. So I met with Liam and pretended to ask about podcasts. And then I said, oh, I was thinking of making this audio show like a tour of Dublin. People listened on their headphones, but it's all made up. Only thing is, I don't know anyone who could do it. And you went, I could do it. And the rest is history.
So that was Eerie. The show was called Eerie, not The Trick. And yeah, it was the audio files of this researcher that brought you around the city and told you the history of the buildings and the streets. And it was all completely made up.
Don't move. Take a deep breath and hold it.
But the twist was, if you looked at the route you had taken from above, you'd actually walked the shape of an ancient rune, which had cursed you.
And then we did a similar show for the Bram Stoker Festival called Bram.
These steps were a passageway down to a truly hellish part of the city. Moss, slime, and vomit covered the wall.
And that ended up leading you to a spot in Trinity College where you'd be attacked by a monstrous, mutated Bram Stoker who had been held captive by vampires for 100 years. Just, regular stuff. And then Petrified.
It was only the wind, my dear.
Mr. Geraghty, what does Petrified mean to you?
It's been a big part of my life for the last couple of years, even though I suppose Petrified fans would be like, there's big breaks in between each season, and where is it? And is it coming back? But we've always kind of been ticking away and working on it. And so, yeah, it kind of has been this kind of like creative backbone. It's been like a few other things that I've worked on in the past. It's been one that's kind of consistent. So, yeah, so it is. And then just the whole like kind of collaborative element, because I suppose a lot of stuff that I would have done in the past was all me, and it was just me going out and interviewing people and editing it and putting it all together. But like this obviously has you and all the actors and stuff, so there's something really nice about that, and I didn't have that for a long time in the kind of creative stuff I was making. It was new and different, for me, and yeah, I just really. Yeah, it's. I'm hesitating to say it, as my therapist would say, stop self-censoring, but like it's special.
No, but no, great. I never have thought we'd go from Bram and Eerie to Petrified.
Well, before Petrified was Velen.
We can't talk about that in the interview. People will try and look it up.
Don't snap at me like that. Before Petrified...
Liam, stop ignoring me.
...was Velen.
Working with Peter on Petrified is horrendous. I don't know why. I still do it. I just find it so horrible on so many levels. He pinches me. He tells me I'm really, really bad at acting, that I have a horrible voice. That I'm quite ugly to look at. He's a bully, really. He's a bully, and I can't believe I put up with it. He should be cancelled, actually.
That was Anna Shields McNamee from Rollover.
It's excitement, Terry. I can't wait to get back to the hotel and get stuck into the sequel.
Talking after recording the episode, Gratitude is in the Now. Herself and Peter have this friendship where they pretended to hate each other. It's all a joke. They like each other. Really. Sadly, Anna couldn't be on this episode because of...
The thing.
All right. take a breath. Anna, myself and poor Ali Fox took part in The Rictus Grin, which was the Petrified live show in the Laughter Lounge in Dublin.
3 people dying in the Laughter Lounge, in the basement, after you hear the joke. The next time you're in the right place, 3 people always die.
So, if by some wild coincidence something awful was to happen here tonight, which unfortunately it's going to, the question is...
Which 3 people in this room are going to die? It was unusual in that we played fake versions of ourselves.
If only we were doing that now.
I was also in another live show.
Here we go.
What?
Who cares? You were in them.
Why do you think I care about how many I was in?
Also in the first live show, Melody Story Hour, which took place during the London Podcast Festival, was Michelle McMahon. Let's see what she had to say about the experience.
Melody Story Hour was really fun. We had a live studio audience, and that was the very first time that we'd had that. And there was something really great about turning up and realising that other people listen to Petrified, not just us, which we knew, but it's always really nice when you're in a room and you're reminded of just how many people are actually listening to it. And reading and performing it live felt really really exciting, because it was revealing itself to us as we were going as well, and just that dynamic between the audience and us was really felt really exciting.
Let's take a moment to remember Michelle
and Ali and Anna,
but not you, because you are still somehow here.
And you.
Aren't we lucky? Where are you going?
I was just checking. I needed to check.
What did you think I'd changed?
High above the obsidian sea, the vertiginous cliff plunges before me. I kneel, my God, I tremble. Send the flood, eclipse me, so mine eye shall not quiver on the thing that heaves into reality.
Look, I've said what you wanted me to say. Will you just open the door, Liam? Please, open the door.
A very cool thing about Petrified. A very cool thing about Petrified is the amount of Foley or sound effects that Liam makes himself, rather than using a sound bank. For instance, in the episode The Person in the Empty Room, where Michelle, God rest her, played the woman blinded with the fork, she and I have a scene where we fight with each other. After recording the performances in Peter's house, Liam went home, set up his recorder, then threw himself on some pillows on the floor and thumped both them and himself. Basically fighting with himself, although Liam did often say...
It's kind of by necessity. Like, it will be very hard to search in a sound bank for, like even the footsteps. Like, when you look up in sound banks for footsteps, they're just like, you know, but whereas like in the scenes that we do, people are kind of like, they're walking 2 steps and then they're picking up a cup of coffee and then they're walking to the kitchen, and that's really hard to replicate in a sound bank. So I prefer just to pick up my mic and just record it myself in the house.
It was that dedication to never taking the easy way out that got him ahead. In fact, Richard Curran, who was the presenter on The Business on RTE, where Liam worked as an investigative reporter.
Well, for the weekend that's in it, perhaps some of you will be looking for spooks and scares to get your kicks. Increasingly, those spooks, scares and general grimness are not just for Halloween. When it comes to how we spend our leisure time, especially on holidays, Liam Geraghty has been looking at the link between tourism and our fascination with humanity's darker side.
had this to say about him.
Please stop ringing me about that person. I never want to hear or speak about him again. And if you insist on pestering me with calls, I'll contact the police.
There's no reason to praise him anymore, Max. He's gone. They all are.
Nearly all. Not all. He's not all.
I'm just going to try it one more time. No need to comment on how silly I'm being. It costs you nothing to just sit there and shut up while I... Now, did that kill you? And at least we know. Here's a clip from an interview Peter did with South Coast FM.
So, you did those two audio tour shows together, but why Petrified?
It's so like to be honest with you,
He hadn't nailed the interview personality yet.
we were both into kind of like horror anthology kind of shows and films, and sorry. And we applied for funding to the Sound and Vision funding I'd written for the theatre before, but no.
But no?
I'd never done radio. Is that what you asked?
He'd gotten the hang of it by the time he appeared on Change of Mind, the podcast about mental health.
Writing was a way to get it all out, or even to get out of myself. You know, my mind goes so fast, and if it's let run at its own speed, unchecked, it goes straight for that spiral down. I used to suffer from very serious depression, but writing, and it couldn't be journaling, it had to be story writing, lifted me out of the spiral.
Is that why you wrote them yourself?
All the episodes? Do you mean instead of having co-writers or like a guest writer?
Sure.
Me making up the questions for yourself. Well, Petrified is like a country of the mind. And I've planned the roads and the towns and the little grottos and that shack falling apart on the vertiginous cliff overlooking the Obsidian Sea. I know the geography, so it would be weird if somebody plonked in a train station or a shopping centre that I didn't recognise. There's strict building codes in this dark land. That's a very pretentious way of putting it, I suppose. Of all the things I've written, it's the one I'm most proud of. It's the most me. It's the thing I also find weirdly easiest. There's an episode in particular, Grove Network Solutions. We were due to record it in my house at 10 a.m. Sunday morning. Oh, we recorded all the episodes in my house, by the way. And it was like Saturday night at like 11 o'clock. And I had nothing. No episode. And then I sat down and I started to write. And it just flowed out of me. It was like, the spirit moved my hands. It feels like that sometimes when I get into the flow. I look back and I go, did I write that? It also seems to have reached so many people. Liam shares the social media with me. He does all the socials. And we get these messages from people around the world saying, you know, they listen to when they start to work, shit stuck in shelves, or they've listened to each episode multiple times, or they've named their cat Teddy after a character in Dead Air. It's just insane to me that things I thought up make people feel better. Like, God, if the poor little depressed version of me would have known that something like this was a possibility, it would have changed everything. I wouldn't have. So yes, I'm protective.
Was it always like this?
No, I used to bend like a tree in the wind. Change this, okay? Change this, okay? Like that's how the absolute horror show that was Val and Maris came about.
What's Val and Maris?
The trial run for Petrified, a little horror drama audio show. We had that lovely actress Rachel Creed, totally looked out to get someone of that stature for her first episode. But Liam was working on that show Calamities with her and they got along. Well, she died while we were recording, like as we were recording. Actually, can we cut this last part out in the edit? It has nothing really to do with what we're talking about.
The whole episode ended up going unaired, incomplete, after the first thing.
Let's stop pussyfooting. It's the only reason why anyone is listening to this self-indulgent rubbish. Steve Murray from Paddy's 12 Pubs was killed. He was kicked by a horse.
They found him stamped dead in a ditch. What? He said it looked like a horse had stamped and stamped and stamped on him. Not a person, anyway.
And at the exact same time, Deborah Wiseman, from amongst others Cold Reading, died in a fall from a high-rise window.
Where are you pushing me? Stop. Hey, stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop.
2 cast members killed on the same day in different locations.
And here we have it. What you came for. In the world of horror, certain cultural touchstones are said to have been cursed. The 1976 film The Omen, starring Gregory Peck and Lee Remick, reported numerous weird incidents during the filming. Peck's plane was struck by lightning, the producer's plane struck by lightning that same week, and the writer's plane struck by lightning days later. The assistant to the special effects designer was killed in a car accident, similar in end result to the infamous decapitation scene of the film. It didn't stop there. The producer's hotel was bombed.
And then the supposed poltergeist curse, wherein 2 of the lead actresses died young, 1 murdered, 1 through illness. An exorcism was carried out on the set after the majority of the crew discovered real skeletons had been used during the famous pool scene. There are other supposedly cursed films: The Exorcist, Twilight Zone the movie, Rosemary's Baby.
Cursed books, The King in Yellow, thought to drive people mad. The Necronomicon, initially fictitious but eventually created, and more and more and more, and on and on and on. Cursed paintings, cursed dances, cursed songs, and finally, a cursed podcast. Velen Maris.
The precursor to Petrified, recorded in 2017 with Rachel Creed. In a house in Avondale, in Dublin.
I kind of wanted to do the show about a DJ who gets weird calls, and her name is Theodora Velen Maris, and so we recorded some of it, but there was an accident now. So but we didn't scrap it all. It turned into Petrified.
Here's the opening of Velen Maris.
It was only the wind, my dear.
During the recording of the show, Rachel Creed, the voice you heard there, was electrocuted by touching a live wire protruding from dodgy equipment. Liam wasn't always such a professional.
Please stop ringing me about that person.
And Peter didn't know what he was doing.
I wanted to make an audio horror thing, but because I didn't really know you or have any experience to try and impress you with, I decided the only way would be to set a trap and see if you'd fall in. Did you ever imagine after recording that first episode that we would be here today?
No, because it's nuts that we've done. How many have we done? 20
more. We're in the 30s.
Are we in the 30s? Mm-hmm. No. That's nuts to me. Because when you add it all up, someone had said to me about how long is each episode, and then if you add them all up, and they were for one series, I think it was it's 8 hours. I was like, oh my god, how? It's just no, definitely not. And actually, if you had have told me that, I think if someone had said, do you want to do another series, and if they had said, do you want to do another 8 hours rather than another 8 episodes, I'd be like, no, that sounds terrible.
Tell them about Dunica, Amy. Tell them about Dunica, Amy.
Dunica O'D from the Post-Vetum Society's Christmas Do.
But aren't you a hypocrite, profiting from the openness of people's minds when your own is so closed?
Afternoon Tea in the Castle.
Have you been in a lot of shows?
A lot of TV. Had a great character arc on Fair City. I was in the bar, had the same seat twice, so you'd really notice me.
And he's behind you.
Who was in here? The place is destroyed.
I was here all the time up at the stage door. No one came down the corridor past me. No one.
Amongst others. Well, he was kind of my fault.
Kind of.
We were driving together.
Like in the episode, Love You, Mean It.
I was driving this time, and it was a night on a country road, and we were driving under. It was like a tunnel of trees. I thought I saw a white figure flash by the window.
Like dead air?
Oh, shut up! And I swerved, and we went down into a ditch, and a chunk of glass from the window embedded in his neck.
Like the glass from the smashed mirror and he's behind you? Deborah's character almost gets pushed through a window in cold reading. It is implied that Steve's character will be trampled to death by a hooved beast in 12 pubs. Characters who almost die or die after the credits roll in an episode. Their deaths eventually inflicted on the actors who played them.
Deirdre, an animal attack.
It's breathing my legs.
Anna, a building collapse.
The roof caved in, killing 3 people.
And it's the same name as the venue.
That burned down in Galway.
Michelle, attacked in a restaurant.
I'd better do it quick.
Do what quick?
Oh, this.
The list goes on and on and on.
And here us two are. And I'm fucking terrified. Because I've been in so many. I can't even try prepare because the possibilities are endless. Beaten with a stone.
Sure, I might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb.
You'll get what's coming to you.
We'll see.
Drowned.
Into the pool, Mila.
A drill.
Sometimes I fantasize about getting a power drill and putting my foot on the back of your neck to hold you down and then pushing it into your skull.
Maybe we'll drown each other. And I could hear him pounding from underneath, pounding on the capsized hull. This metallic boom. Or be beaten together.
That's it, Maura. Careful if that turned in back food.
The only positive of being locked in here together is there's not much likelihood of drowning in a little rented recording studio in Dublin City FM, the place where it all started.
One of the few episodes not recorded in Peter's house.
So, listeners, if you ever do get to listen, if this episode ever sees the light of day or reaches another human ear, you may be wondering what exactly Amy and I are doing right now. Well, we are revealing the truth behind a cursed podcast because by taking part in the podcast, we too are cursed. It was after the launch of this series that they started. The accidents, the fatalities. Some might not have been particularly notable in the grand scheme. A fall, a car crash. A couple stood out. An animal attack. A violent human attack that led to a fatal injury. There was some where the body count was so high that one victim wouldn't particularly stand out amongst the many. Suffice to say, if you weren't one of the Petrified family, you wouldn't have any reason to notice the slow but steady increase in the deaths of the actors who voice characters in a tacky little horror podcast. After all, do you know most of any of us by our names rather than our characters, our voices?
But being part of the Petrified family, we noticed. There were WhatsApp groups starting up. Then the people in those groups dropping one by one. We didn't immediately go directly to the source because we aren't particularly friendly or close with Liam and Peter. Oh, let's just get it out. There's no point in trying to suck up to them anymore. Liam is mostly dead, and who knows about the other one?
Liam is a tyrant, and Peter is deeply unpleasant. Like, I do the gigs because the money is great, but I've never doubted for a second that Liam would stand on the back of your head and push your face into a puddle if it meant he could get ahead.
And Peter just radiates wrongness. If you bump into him or accidentally touch him during recording, you can feel the touch for hours afterwards. And yet, at the start, we didn't think this could be coming from them, from this. How could a podcast cause this?
Liam sent me a voice note. By accident. I was in a group with him and Peter from when we were recording Little Capricorn. He obviously had just meant it for Peter, so deleted it quick smart, but not before I'd sent it on to the group. Listen.
What the fuck are you at? Why did I just get an email from Culture Week asking about Belle and Maris? Who have you been talking to? You'll be sorry if you cross me.
Peter obviously heard it too, because that's when the rats started their escape from the sinking ship. I was emailed recordings as part of some weird lashing out, blaming the other perhaps, one-upping the self-destruction, the recordings that we've shared here, that we've still to share. Some from Liam, some from Peter, both turning on each other.
A little more from that Change of Mind podcast interview.
People actually don't believe me when I say I was so incredibly shy I'd break into a sweat if I had to interact with another person or talk about myself. I wouldn't sleep at night, lying in bed hoping something would get better. There was this writer I loved, they're long dead, a poet. They had this poem about a vertiginous cliff and an obsidian sea or something. I used to lie in bed and wish I had that way with words. Everything would be okay if I had that. And here I am now on a podcast all about me. All I needed was to give up some stuff I was holding on to. Petrified being a hit confirmed to me I'd made the right decision.
Why did Liam send that on? And why did Peter send this on?
No, I'm really focused on creating the best product. Like, I hope it hasn't meant that I've stepped on any toes along the way. I just have a drive to be the best at something, because what you make, what you turn out, the quality of it speaks for you. It says what kind of person you are.
Beyond the little sniping attacks on each other's character, one of them shared the only thing that could really, really destroy them both. The unfinished episode of Velen Maris. The final scenes may not have been recorded by Rachel Creed, but her final scene was. Listen.
Is she dead? Don't touch her! Use a sweeping brush or something to knock the body away. Where are you going?
Just checking the fuse box. It tripped a switch. There's no power running through the equipment anymore.
Meaning? Don't touch her!
Meaning I can check her pulse. Wow. It's done.
But we didn't finish. There's so much script left. I wrote so much more.
You can't use it. It's soiled now. Just start again. Completely new. Unmarked. Use the imagination this is supposed to bring you.
I don't want to delete it all.
You can't use that script. I won't tell you again.
But Peter did use the script again. Most of it anyway. He was so creatively poor he was terrified to dump a half-decent script. Laura Velen Maris became Teddy Lyle and a few other cosmetic tweaks. But as they say in some true stories, only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Let me read you an internet link Liam sent on when they turned on each other. Esoteria magazine, an interview with Lester Corley, December 1985. Title, 1 for 1. Highlighted quote from Lester. Well, it all depends on how you define a ghost story. Is it a story about a ghost or a story that is indeed itself haunted? I'm sure in your pedestrian minds, when you imagine a haunting, you see a stately manor or a castle with flags flapping on the battlements, or a grubby little 2 up, 2 down on a housing estate infested by poltergeists. But it is not just a place that can be haunted. It can also be a thing, hence the cursed object or the sacred relic. I posit that if a place can be haunted, if a person or an object can be haunted, why not too a concept? Why can't an idea be haunted? Or a wish? This is the basis of my theory on transference between planes, between what is in front of and behind the veil. If something is moved between the planes, it must be a 1 for 1. You give a thing, and you take a thing. Like in a séance. The bereaved have questions, and the dead want to answer. But the door must be closed solidly afterwards, or else you have a haunting. End of highlighted quote.
1 for 1. A talentless writer with no social skills and a short-tempered producer who burned all his bridges found a way to take from behind the veil a deceased person's talent, another deceased person's ability to charm. And in return, they gave the other plane Rachel Creed. But one little coward was afraid it wouldn't work and reused portions of the script. He kept the door open. And now we have the mother of all curses, the mother of all haunted objects. For every episode of Petrified that flows out of Peter like a spirit moving his hand, containing every sound effect Liam conjures out of the air, a soul must go back over the other side of the veil. 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
Well, I'm Stephen Peace, the photographer for the publicity photos. And remember, guys, if you use this in the podcast, I'll die quicker, and it'll be your fault. Okay, so the first time they booked me before Petrified was officially released, on the shoot they just kept whispering with each other in between shots. So weird, they just couldn't, like, they would barely speak to me. Fucking creeps. I couldn't hear everything, but I mean, they were excited about some dumb book. I think it was by a grandfather of one of the actors. There was one word they kept using. Transference. Next time I was there for series 2. Then I had to fix every one of those photos. They both looked drained, like sick, like they were dying or something. I mean, still creeps. And then this time, just before the series came out, they looked better. But I still needed to fix those photos because Liam's eyes were a little empty. It's always kind of hard to describe how it looks like, but it was like he has no soul or something. And Peter, well, it was obvious I was with somebody who was insane. Now, I know this curse will come for me after the actors, so I know I don't have long left. Do you know some ways to stop this?
When you were a baby, Peggy would never hold you on her lap. Your grandfather was a powerful man. We have learned a lot from the books he left behind. We have been reading from them when the moon is full, when it is waning, and when it is dim.
I'm checking it. Don't say anything. It's still locked.
Of course it is. You have the key in your pocket.
You never know.
He's out. Liam is out.
What's left of him? We have to finish this quick. Victims of their own productivity. They're running out of cast members, but the episodes keep churning out.
Who are you from? Podcast Connections. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's great to win the award. The recognition means so much, but really it's just a treat to be able to play in this playground with my fellow creative. That's the true prize. I can barely hear you. Your equipment is shit. I think I get the gist though. Well, I'd say my mind is the thing I treasure most. I used to be very forgetful, like shockingly so. So I think my biggest fear is losing my mind completely. Being this shambling creature with no independent thought. Just eat, sleep, and destroy.
So that's what Liam is now. We locked him in Studio 5, played the sounds of the bells from the church, and he followed them. We knew a part of him deep down would recognise the sound. We don't know where the other weasel is exactly, but he's here.
We have to try and end this before it gets to us.
1 for 1.
1 for 1. Are you ready?
Ready. Brain Liam with the big heavy fuck-off trophy they won at the New York Radio Drama Awards. The weight of it.
A fitting end. Those two for us two. And then Petrified is no more. If they can't make any more episodes, there can't be any more haunting.
Get ready. Get ready. I'll open the lock and let him see you. When he comes in, I'll brain him from behind the door.
You'll still help me with Peter though, right?
Mags, come on.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay. It'll be okay. We can do this. We can do this.
Shit. Where's he going? We have to...
Mags?
Yes? Oh! What are you doing?
I just remembered the end of the guest.
The shovel.
Wait! Let her get out the door.
Oh my head.
Yeah. Are you all buttoned up?
Got my gloves and everything. George, no more Janet?
No more Janet. Ellen, darling,
Yes, love?
Happy Christmas.
Why? They're bigger than me. And I'm bigger than you. And it takes way too long to make a quality podcast. One for one. Now. Liam? Liam? She's gone. It's over.
It hurts. I can't see anymore. Only here.
I recorded it all. It's all still recording now, and I can add in clips later. I've made radio shows too, you know. I was nominated for an IMRO for Extraordinary Era with Dunica. We have to kill Peter, release this podcast as a non-petrified episode, and it closes the door and ends all of this. Ends Petrified for... Stop! Stop it! What are you doing with a basket of rocks? Please! Please!
They really thought we turned on each other. They fell for it.
So they'd record because you've run out of ideas.
Just please, Liam, produce their recording. Put in the clips. We can make it an episode of Petrified. There can be more.
This is killing us, Peter. Eventually will kill us. I'll just be a monster wearing headphones, pressing buttons and making sounds, wishing I was dead.
You can't stop. We'll end it, just not yet. I can't go back to what I was. I can't.
Who said I'd stop? When we run out of actors, maybe there's some way to trade our listeners.
I suppose just that if you wish for something like hard enough, if you have to you have to be willing to do anything to make it come true.
You're listening to